So my doggy is struggling. We're not sure what's going on. It seems like it might be some neurological thing or something. She's losing her balance and having issues walking. And we got her to drink some water this morning, but she threw it right up. So I was like, uh-oh, this is not going good. So I've been putting some oils on her just at the like 1% dilution because she's such a tiny little thing, and nothing seemed to be working. So I did a little research this morning, and Amanda had suggested marjoram and copaiba and turmeric were ones that I saw that looked like they were supportive for neurological issues. So I made her a little roller with just a couple of drops of frank and copaiba and marjoram and turmeric. And I put some on, and in about 5 minutes, she was kind of able to get up and kind of move around a little. And so I got to take her outside, and she did some stuff outside, and I had to support her a little bit, but she was able to walk back in the house and get all the way to her water bowl and drink a little bit of water and keep it down. So I don't know. It could be the oils. I'm pretty sure that has a lot to do with it. So I'm pretty excited, but I'm keeping an eye on her, seeing how she does. Does the oils work?
That's really, really awesome. Yeah. I, it's always surprising to me how fast they work too. You know, you think about things that are natural, usually take a lot longer to work in our systems compared to when we're using modern medicine, which is supposed to like, you know, give you like instant results. So I love hearing stories about, you know, just how powerful these are that for something that we already had seen as a problem for a while and wasn't improving, you know, within a few minutes of putting those on, the right thing for the right job. It's right there. Okay, so um, we are going to talk about Symphony of the Cells. And this happens to be seriously one of my favorites because it can address so many of the deeper issues that many of us have struggled with for several years in a row, or maybe even since, you know, childhood or birth. And what's different about Symphony of the Cells is that it uses yeah, actually, that was a question. Well, okay, I'm gonna ask you guys a question. I'm gonna tell you why I'm asking the question. Here's your question number one. Have you ever heard of Symphony of the Cells other than from me? Have you ever heard of Symphony of the Cells other than from me? And if you would like to know how to comment in the chat, you can. Let me find my handy dandy. No, I had a way that was allowing you to comment in the chat, but now I can't find it. It was such a cute little chart too. Is that, there it is. Okay, so here you go. If you are in an actual Zoom meeting, you're gonna tap the screen. This will appear. You're gonna click on the participants button right there. And at the bottom, it'll give you the option of chatting, and then you can put your comment in there. And if anybody, well, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't ask that one too, but too many questions. If you do know how to comment during one of these, it's advantageous because you can show your participation and attendance, and we like to reward that with diffusers. I happen to forget to bring the 3 diffusers in here that are your choice, but as you attend, we're looking for all 8, meaning when you complete the whole 8 in this series, that you get to choose your best diffuser. Not like you qualify to win, you'll be put in a drawing. No, like you actually earned it, because I like to reward people for investing in their own personal development, their own wellness goals. And if you're attending and participating, I think that's awesome. I want to make sure you get something for it. But if you are not participating live and you're watching this recording later, no worries, you have an option as well. You're going to send your answers to the 4 questions that I ask to enamoredwithnature@gmail.com. And when you send them there, I'm going to go ahead and record you on my little sheet as if you attended live, because it shows me that you listened throughout the whole thing. These are some other ways that you guys might want to be able to find me. If you're not sure where to get one of the videos that I've done or how to access it, you can always jump onto my YouTube channel under Amanda Dumas. And we'll talk a little bit more about some of the Facebook groups and why you might want to join the two of those. But this will be one extra thing I'm going to mention here. If you would like to have the link sent to you for these, virtual things, without having to jump onto Facebook or figure out how to get it, you're going to bring up your text thing and do the number 81010 as if you're sending a message to that. And you're going to enter in the @ symbol and the lovely V if you are someone who would be able to come to local events here in Orlando. Or if you are a far-flung friend, then you would do the @ symbol and far and loved. And after you send it and get your account set up, you'll be ready to join the fun. Okay, so Symphony of the Cells, have you ever heard of it? I'm going to pop into the chat and kind of see what you guys, nope, haven't heard of it. Yes, just from you, only heard from you on doTERRA Facebook, not before, yep. So yeah, I actually had a good friend of mine ask me, is Symphony of the Cells like some new MLM thing? Aren't you doing doTERRA anymore? Don't worry, it's totally connected. doTERRA is the only way that Symphony of the Cells could exist, because Symphony of the Cells, you have to have those high quality oils to be able to use them in this particular method to have the high results. So, so much of what Boyd Truman, who is the inventor of Symphony of the Cells, has done is based on the fact that we have amazing, super crazy quality that it's, unmatched in any other, essential oil company at all. So thank you guys for answering. And I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen with the next thing, which is I'm going to show you guys my handout. Now, Marcella is going to put this into the chat so that if you want to, download and print it off and follow along a little easier, that's great. But hopefully this will be enough of a short overview that you won't have any issues for at least getting a basic understanding. So we're going to try to keep it fairly short. And, oh, actually, I should also tell you this as well. If you are wanting to get the real lowdown on Symphony of the Cells, Boyd Truman does trainings. He actually even has some trainings that are online, and a few of them are even free, which I think is fantastic that that he's got something like this going. And it's really, really not difficult to get clicked in here. Now, actually, I want to tell you one other thing before. Let me not go here at the moment, okay? Oh, go back. There we go. Okay, so this is also the place, symphonyofthecells.com is where you would go if you wanted to get your actual booklet, which is, $12.95. Really not a bad price here. So, oh, and yes, I was hoping this would pop up. Look, guys, this is great. Whenever you log in, not every time, because that's why I was hoping this pop up, but when you bump into this, it will ask you if you want to win a special prize. And so you can put in your email address, and look, it's like a really cool discount, and it doesn't come every time, so remember to save it, but that does make it nicer if you're getting the Symphony of the Cells application book here or something, and it at least kind of covers any shipping cost or whatnot. I will also tell you that if you are a little bit of a science geek, you will want to look into this the journal as well. And I'll tell you just a little bit more about that in a minute, about why, if you're into figuring out like the root cause of some, say, thyroid issue, or say you have a, what would I even call it? I did a little research for a friend of mine who's struggling with tinnitus. And most of you guys would probably think that's just, a hearing issue. When you look it up a certain way in the journal, it'll show you that it many times is a lymphatic drainage issue, and that it is connected to some of the connective tissues as well. So then it can show you which protocols from Symphony of the Cells would be best to treat tinnitus. And most people are thinking, oh, like, how do you regain hearing? How do you, though this like shows the root issue, and treating that is what's going to help make it clear, to get the full solution. It's like, for me, my favorite one that I looked up was urinary tract infections. And it wasn't until I saw in here that I had all of these like light bulbs go off in my head, that it's a digestive protocol that you do that for, because it relates to all the kidneys and um, all of those organs that eliminate. You want to treat the entire system, as opposed to just thinking I should rub some oils on my lower abdomen, you know. And maybe that does work for in a pinch if it's like super hot and inflamed, but to get the root cause, over the course of several months, you're going to want to be treating the whole digestive and urinary tract systems. So if you're into sciencey stuff, you will love that. Okay, let me go back to my original thing, which is, why are we using essential oils? And if you are completely new, maybe you just got your account this past week, and you don't really know much about the box of essential oils that's there, or how powerful they are yet, I'm going to go ahead and say this as a little bit of intro for you. When we have these natural substances, like what's found in seeds, bark, stems, roots, flowers, and other parts of plants, they are easy to recognize in our body. And that means that our bodies can break them down and utilize them better than if we're using a foreign substance that's not quite as natural. Our body really likes that natural to natural kind of thing. And the Symphony of the Cells, which you'll notice here they abbreviate SOC. So Boyd Truman was the creator of it. And the idea behind it is that each condition is connected to a body system. So when you do a Symphony of the Cells application, and I'll show you guys some examples. In fact, we're even going to have, I don't know if you guys have noticed her sleeping behind me now, but I have my sweet friend, she popped up there. There's little Sarah. Hi, little wave over there. So she's going to be I mistakenly called her my protocol dummy. And I'm like, no, protocol buddy. She'll be a buddy, not a dummy. Test dummy, you know. Okay, so so I'm going to show you guys exactly how to do it. We've chosen a really great protocol for her. But the basic idea is you're not only kind of covering up the condition, but you're looking to the underlying cause. So when performing one of these, it's best if you can do the overall system, so you get a better chance of wellness. When we put them on the spine, it's effective because those oils are quickly hitting the nervous system, and therefore they get to like be spread out through the rest of the body. What I had not realized previously is that pathogens tend to hide out in spinal fluid. So it's a really, really great idea for us to be catching any kind of issue before it starts out, because I know you guys have probably heard about things that metastasize, where you had an issue with some misbehaving cells in one area of your body, and then it kind of spreads to another place by traveling through the spinal fluid. You guys have probably all heard that before, so this all kind of makes sense, right? Okay, so when we also using, I'm going to go ahead and well, should I do this one? Oh, I feel like we might be due for another question. All right, who here can tell me what it's called when we use reflex points on the bottoms of your feet? Go ahead and put it in the chat. That's your question number 2. What is it called when we use reflex points on the bottoms of our feet in order to gain better wellness? I'm kind of curious if anybody will get the answer in the next minute or two. But so as you guys are typing that into the chat, whenever we do put essential oils on the bottoms of our feet, it's very effective. We have great absorption there. The pores are bigger, and it's very much where a lot of nerve endings are, and so it can kind of be sucked up into the other parts of our body as well. And one of the big benefits of how the Symphony of the Cells protocol works, one thing that I think is really, really great. Oh, somebody's drawn on my screen, or was that me? I don't know if somebody, this is, what is it called? Zoom bombing? Thankfully, it's going to be do right. Oh, thanks, whoever it was, took it away. Good job. All right, so it's about 5 to 7 minutes to do the whole protocol. And what I really think is a huge deal is there are no special hand motions. That's a big deal to me because many moms, they can't be the masseuse. There's not enough time in the day for them to do that for each one of their kids or for their husband or something like that. And you don't have the time to study up, if you use this and that part, and watch out for your thumbs getting really tired. So I like that there's nothing special that you have to do with your hands, and it's super short, and that makes it so easy to do. So 1 to 4 protocols per month is usually sufficient for somebody who is pretty healthy. And if you have an active issue that is a big problem, you're going to want to look to do 3 protocols per week. You have to commit to about 3 months. So this is something that I've been working on with my husband. He now asks me for the inflammatory protocol, which is what we're going to be doing on Sarah, and I'll tell you why in just a minute. But the reason you want to commit to several months of this is because those serious health issues didn't develop overnight. And so you have to give your body time and allow the oils to work with your body to heal itself. So like if you're struggling with that tinnitus, like we mentioned, or if you have, a thyroid issue of some sort, you're gonna want to do the specific protocol for you, and you're gonna want to do it several times a week for several months. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and show a couple other things here. Actually, wait. Let me find out what's in the chat here. Reflexology. Look, you guys are so smart. Oh, way to go. Reflexology, Gallus, way to get healing. Yay. Thank you guys. This is so good. Okay, so I'm glad you guys got your second question in. We're going to go ahead and move on to the next part, which now if you guys ever end up watching one of Boyd Truman's trainings, you'll find that a lot of his training has to do with this next part, which he calls the foundation. He says that your nutrition and personal care practices play a huge role in your body's well-being. So adding in essential oils, whether it's using the Symphony of the Cells protocol or just starting to use oils in your daily life, may not yield as much result as you're hoping for if your diet continues to be high in processed foods and sugars, artificial sweeteners. And if you're using lotions and perfumes and air fresheners and shampoos and other products that have a lot of chemicals and fragrance, that is a continual toxic flow, and you won't find the essential oils to be nearly as effective. So when you're beginning your essential oil protocol, it also is normal to go through a cleansing process. Now, sometimes that cleansing process might be unnoticeable, but it could also come feeling like a skin irritation. It could feel like an upset stomach. You might have a little diarrhea, and you might even have your back might feel sore, your joints might feel a little funky. These effects are temporary. Your body's trying to cleanse the unnatural substances that it had been harboring before, and working through using those natural essential oils. So as far as I have had the experience to do this on some of my buddies that pop over for something else, and I'm like, oh my goodness, you're having a hard time, jump on my massage table here. And so most of the people, when I warn them, hey, you really need to do a lot of extra water today, consider yourself to have just had a massage, you have to take care of yourself. Usually the water and things like that are enough to keep away some of these other side effects. But by the time they're doing the second time or something like that, these do not seem to come into play. It's just usually the first time when your body is trying to oh my goodness, you're right, all this stuff has been stalled here, let's get it out. Now, Boyd Truman also is huge into the lifelong vitality supplements, and he says that you really should be doing the 4 of each daily. I tend to usually do only 2 or 3 daily. We can talk a little bit more about in a minute. but he's a big fan of the Terrazyme to help break down the nutrients from the Lifelong Vitality supplements. And he's also a big fan of having, some lemon in your water, and the turmeric capsules he's huge into. And one other thing that he actually tells you too is if you're working on a specific protocol, I'm going to show you guys. So this is the one that we're going to be doing for Sweet Sarah today. So you'll notice that, well, actually, let me show you one more thing too. So we're choosing this particular protocol because she's been having some issues with her tendons, and she's also had a lot of joint problems with her shoulders, and we've also, just some general aches and pains, kind of things like that. Now over here, these body systems that this particular protocol is working on, like all of these particular essential oils, are going to be impacting these body systems. And right now is a great time to boost her immune system. And so in addition to the stuff for the tendons and stuff like that, we want that to be, in full force, going out and about and having fun. Sorry, go back. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go through the guidelines here in just a second, but I'm thinking, let's see, where did it, is it this one? Okay, yeah. You may want to go ahead and take a look at these. In fact, this is going to be my third question. Question number 3 is, when you're looking at, I have 2 pages here. When you're looking at these 2, what would you say would be one of the protocols that you are most interested in looking at? So you have the bug, or I guess they kind of call it ID for infectious disease. You have the hormone protocol. This would be one for someone who maybe has thyroid issues. That would be kind of a bigger deal. The lymphatic system, it's really surprising how many different things are in here as well, including the tinnitus, right, that we mentioned, that, those lymph nodes that are near the ear are not allowing all the flow out of the fluids that are supposed to be, continually coming out. And so that's causing that that buzzing or sound in the ear that's kind of painfully always present. There's the solar. There's maximum, which that one I know is typically only for people who have like kind of deeper issues, and most often someone wouldn't necessarily need it unless they were just doing like a maintenance thing. The respiratory stuff, I've used this quite a few times, especially here when we're looking at the most recent events with COVID and all that kind of stuff. This is a nice way to make sure that you're taking care of all of those things in the respiratory system. On the other page, we have I guess the most basic would be with this one, and it's also really easy to just do on kids. That one only has like 4 oils in it. The cardiovascular protocol, I happen to know a few people who are doing that one, and one of them is on. So if you've had a lot of issues with cardiovascular issues, this would be the one that you'd want to do a couple times a week. We have the osteo protocol. I've done this a couple times on my husband as he struggles with gout. We also have, this one's a really long one, the digestive protocol. Okay, this one, okay, I should probably mention this to you guys too. This digestive protocol here is where Boyd Truman says to start if you don't know where to start. He sees either digestive or forgive. And those 2 protocols, yeah, I think this particular sheet doesn't have any of the emotional ones in here. The amoebic isn't in this list, and we don't have the forgive protocol here anyway. But okay, so here's the inflammation one and the neurological one. So the neurological one also has, is another option if we're looking at some thyroid issues as well. Someone had asked me about that. That's why I keep throwing it out there. Okay, so if you guys can put into the chat which of these would be like one of the number one that you personally would like to have for yourself? I know probably a lot of you moms do this because you're thinking, oh, you know, who needs that is so and so, which if that is actually where your mind goes, be sure to stick around for the second portion of our class where we talk about how to give someone samples and kind of get started sharing essential oils in a way that doesn't overwhelm people and leads to having, you know, good results with it. So stick around for the second half of that. But yes, so my question is for you guys, you yourself, if you were going to have one done on you, which of these do you think you would like to have the best? I know some of you guys can't see all of these depending on if you're on the phone or wherever, but hopefully you guys can at least get something in there in the chat to let me know what you guys would like. I will be choosing at one point to somebody, hopefully I'm going to do a local one. I hope I can randomly choose someone who happens to be local, but I'm going to be offering someone to come and get the protocol during this next couple of weeks here. Okay, I'm gonna go back to, where's my page? Okay, so for these guidelines, that I'm gonna go over these and then I'm gonna pop over and you'll have to excuse me while I, you know, get my chair kind of funny. And then we'll do, I'll show you guys how to do it and then I'll continue with the rest. So in general, what you're looking at is 3 to 4 drops per oil for a normal, you know, healthy adult. And if you're going to do something that's for kiddos or for the elderly, then you'll do like 1 to 2 drops. And so I have a 4-year-old. I just make it 1, and it gets very diluted because of the carrier oil. So it's good. You will want to familiarize yourself with the different symbols to see how each one is completed. What I mean by that is you'll see they have this one had a glare on when I took the picture. Sorry about that. So this means that you put frankincense on the neck and shoulders. The signal of the nose is that you need to have them smell it also. And then you put it on the bottoms of the feet. And Boyd Truman tells us, don't stress about all the reflexology points. It's going to be taken up very nicely into the nerve endings, so don't worry that you're doing it wrong or that you have to have all this knowledge about it. Just getting it onto the spine and getting it onto the feet is plenty. Like, don't stress. Okay, so, and then he also has some of these symbols here, like the optional OPT means optional if you want to have it with a temperature rising. So either afterwards you can have that person pop in the shower or take a hot bath, and the water is going to drive the oil deeper into the spinal fluid and the muscles and the tissues and things like that. Don't worry, it's not like washing it off necessarily. That heat is going, heat and water are going to drive the oils in. And or you can just take a hot towel and lay it on the top of that person's spine to help things kind of, you know, go in there for a few minutes. So he says, get familiar with the symbols. Sometimes you may also notice for different ones, it could be that you're asked to use a roller bottle. You'll just apply it to your hand first and then rub it onto the spine so that you're not doing a lot of transference. Okay, and he also says, hey, set out all the oils with the caps off prior to starting so that you can keep a hand on the client throughout the majority of the protocol. It is very comforting to someone to kind of always just have, you know, to know where you're at and not be wondering what, like, when it's going to be dropping on their back the next time. And it feels very comforting that way. Sorry, I know my thing's doing kind of like funky as I move it up. Oh, here he says again, if you don't know where to start, begin with the digestive or forgiveness protocol because 80% of the immune system is in the gut. So tackling most things will begin by tackling the digestive system with that gut. Long-term emotional issues are also the cause of many physical ailments, and the forgiveness protocol is a great way to begin working through and letting them go. And he mentions here, again, when you're looking at like total best practice is if you can combine the aromatic, topical, and internal use. So if you can choose a couple oils from the protocol that are made for internal use. So in the one that we're using for Sarah, um, doing like the lemongrass and the peppermint are a great one that you can take internally. And I mean, I think they actually taste fairly good. I like to put lemongrass in my hummus, and peppermint will sometimes go in my oatmeal. And you know, if you're really brave, you can also put some in a really, really large glass of water. It's especially refreshing if you do it, you know, when you're about to be going exercise in the Florida heat. But the main idea is like if you can have like all three kind of methods of using that oil, that it's, you know, even a shorter amount of time that that issue will be resolved, because you're you know, you're supporting your body in so many different ways. And okay, so for any protocol that ends with peppermint, which is a driver oil, you can use the hot wet compress or take a hot shower. I guess I jumped ahead there, right? Protocols with neroli, jasmine, and rose, you might consider decanting them into a 5 ml or a 15 ml bottle so you can drop them on the spine. If you do keep them in the roller bottles, be careful to put them in an unoiled hand to prevent mixing the different oils into your rollers. That especially becomes true if you're doing one that has you know, like a really strong oil, like a peppermint or something like that. If you had applied that first and then done, say, like a magnolia or a jasmine or something like that on top with your roller bottle, you may be kind of transferring some of that peppermint into your jasmine or magnolia bottle. So to keep that from happening, we're just going to use an unoiled, you know, finger or hand or something like that. And typically, when he does that, you'll notice in the in the way that it's set up, you'll see that the neroli and magnolia, whatever, will come before the carrier oil to prevent some of that from happening. So some of these are purposely worked out really smart. Okay, when there is more than one protocol that you can benefit from, you can consider doing 3 different ones in a week's time to see what's the most beneficial. And you can also reference the oil substitution chart if you don't have the oils to complete a protocol. I know that was something that Paula had just told me about. I'll go ahead and stop sharing for a second. When you're here, if you have the book, which again, this is $12.95. I had a couple of them. I actually only have one left. So if somebody like messages me super fast, like I want it, I'll be at your house tomorrow or whatever, I can probably pass this one to you. Otherwise, we might have to make another order, you know, get another couple of them in, or like I showed you guys, symphonyofthecells.com is an easy way to get it. In the very back, you have the oil substitutions, and that would be like, I'm like, oh man, it's asking me for ylang ylang, but I don't have ylang ylang. So what do I use instead? You know, so it'll tell you some of the other options that you can put in there so that you don't have to feel like you have to have every single thing. It certainly does help to have all of them, but you know, we build over time. And you know, I didn't start with an every oil kit. I actually started with like one of the really, really small 5 ml bottles, you know, like the basic 10 kind of a thing. And just over time, I started building. Actually, let me jump in for just a minute and tell you, just so I don't forget. Yeah, actually, yeah, I definitely want to do this. Tell me to, oh, looking for the right. Here we go. Yes. Okay, so this is the doterra.com page, and I'm going to log in and I'm going to show you guys how to get some extra discounts when you're ordering. Most of you guys probably know this. In fact, go ahead and make this, with this question 4 now, or are we 3? Which one is it? Question 4? Okay, question 4, I guess. Question 4 is, what is your favorite thing about ordering loyalty rewards style? I know some of you guys are brand new and you could just put, I don't know, in the chat. But if you do know, if you've gone over and heard, what are some of the things that are benefits of ordering the loyalty rewards style, go ahead and type that into the chat. I'm going to pop over. That actually kind of helps me because sometimes I forget to list all of them. And I want to make sure everybody knows what's up and how to get the deepest discount. Okay, so this is me signed into my account, and you'll notice that I already have my loyalty rewards order set up, and we call this LRP, Loyalty Rewards Program. So my LRP is set, and I'm going to show you what's in there by clicking the Edit Order button. And I'm going to show you, I love, love, love the lifelong vitality. And what's the, we have whole classes about this. So you guys will have to check back with one of the other things where I go into detail about why this LLV, lifelong vitality, is so magical. But also when you are already getting that set up, you also get to order 3 of the following awesome things at a deep, deep discount. If you have any inflammation issues, you're going to want to look at this deep blue polyphenol complex, which normally, even with our membership that we all have, normally it would be $60 if you're buying it outright. But when you tag it on to getting these lifelong vitality supplements, they're actually only going to pay $20 for that extra little freebie. If you have other cardiac or blood kind of issues or any kind of inflammation, this is another one that I do for my husband, especially. Normally the E-omega oil, the omega oil complex that has some essential oils and some, fish oils and plant oils in it. Normally that would be $49.50, but you're only paying $20 when you're getting it together. Like, you kind of customize your own little setup. And I also have to point out the probiotic here. Oh, wait, I love Metal 2 Max also for energy and stamina. Yeah, I could probably go on and on about these things. But anyway, so I just wanted you guys to see, whatever it is that you add in, you're able to get it at quite a discount compared to, even your already fantastic 25% off the retail price. And then the fact that we have got this as a loyalty rewards order. Now I am up to 30% back. Most of you will start at 10%. And then every 3 months or so, if you're consistently getting over 50, they'll add an extra 5. So by the time you get into 13 months, of having your own account and ordering the loyalty reward style, you'll be getting 30% back. The way that works is every time I make an order, so notice here I'm ordering 145 PV, that's product value. And so it's saying when I make this order go through, my estimated points that I'll earn is 43. 43.5. Now that's going to jump right up to here and add to my remaining reward points, which right now are at 55. So, when this goes through, it'll continue to add. Now, what do I do with these points when they're up here? I use them for good stuff, right? So here, for example, I have wintergreen, which Sarah was here at my house last night, and I had a little bit left, and I had to open up my brand new wintergreen because I wanted to send her home with the little bits that was in the previous one. So I need to make sure I have another one of those on stock because we love it at my house. Now, I just, this whole section here of use points, I'm just going to add it, yep, say that one, let's go ahead and do that one with points, and that becomes free after this starts scrolling. Okay, so it appears here down, it's now free. I've used my 22 points to buy it, and my cost, my dollar amount has gone down. And so I love being able to have free stuff and use those really well. Okay, so I think that's what I'm gonna stop sharing because I want to see what you guys put as some of your favorite stuff. Oh, you guys have questions here. These are really good. Oh, okay. Yes, Symphony of the Cells is great because they show substitutions for the specific oils. I think I answered Angela's question about if you only have the rollers. Okay, Jasmine says she wants it, she can pick it up. Okay, I'm gonna keep that one for you. Thank you, Jasmine. The book is available on the Symphony of the Cells website. Okay, so yeah, so things that we love about ordering loyalty rewards, getting points back for sure. Knowing that you build PV points and get free goodies down the road. Good job, Krista. Oh, sweetie, I miss you. I wish you're back in town. Okay, Tanisha says she loves the free stuff. Paula says, we love getting the extra product, the oil of the month, and points back. Those are all really, really good ones. Yes. Yes, incentivizing. Okay, so the book, okay, the book's available. Free oils, more points towards oil. Thank you, Sandra. That's great. Discounts and bonus points to spend. Good job, Marie. Plan to get, to think about what you need. Getting, planning gets you free oil and loyalty points. Yes. Very, very good. Okay. Oh, good point, Marcella. Yep. So when you do use your points, your PB will go down. So you have to make sure that you're still over 125. Let me go back and just make sure you guys can see how to do that. Oh, I have to share first. Getting used to this. All right. So, so you notice here, my PV went down to 123 when I used up those points. And that's significant if I have to keep it at 125, right? Because if I want that free oil of the month, if I'm using it before the 15th. So yeah, good point there. Thank you for having me do that. So we would just add in something else that we need or pick a different item to have, you know, as our free thing. Let me see what does it mean by shipping points? Oh, good question there too. Thank you for asking again. Paula is always on the ball. Okay, so we have estimated shipping points earned. The reason we have that there is because if I want to change to a standard order or even to priority. So I say, I want it here, you know, on a certain day, or I can even have it priority, which is like probably like 2 days from the time I order. I think this is for whatever day it's set for. So that would be $12 or $7 or $4. So my my shipping points earned would change depending on which shipping type I am asking for. So if I want it priority, then I'm going to end up with 12 points that are coming back to me. Do you guys see? And then that just gets added right here into my my reward points, and I get to use them for whatever I want, you know, whatever I can use my points for there, like more laundry detergent, more, you know, oh, by the way, I know we mentioned about the body lotion, but most of the lotions that are out there on the market, even like the Aveeno and things like that, have a lot of parabens and yeah, not good stuff in it, and actually keeps the essential oils from absorbing into your skin. So if you are going to use something that's more like a lotion base, if you're really used to that and you want to be able to spread around some good quality doTERRA essential oils with them, you're probably going to need to upgrade your oil, or just use coconut oil. That also works as well. Okay, I have to close a couple of these out because I feel like I'm getting kind of distracted here by too many things open. Okay, I think I'm back. Oh, but now I've lost where you guys are. Where did you go? I can't find. There you are. Okay. All right. I'm going to continue sharing. No, wait, no, I think I got it. I think I'm good, right? Let me stop here and do the protocol on her, okay? And that's gonna be my best bet, I think. So I'm moving my chair aside, pardon the noise. And Sarah, can you guys still hear me okay? I know the light's not crazy good. Can you guys see me okay still? Okay, I see some nodding heads, that's good. Sarah went ahead and put her robe on backwards. That's allowing me to keep her arms nice and warm and not keep her like crazy exposed. So if you start doing this often, you'll like to have that available to them. But if you don't have a massage table, my 2 tricks are have them sit like with their head off the corner of the bed, because then you can come around the side easily to be able to kind of do something to them. Or if they don't even want to lay down, you can have them straddle a chair, meaning like their legs go over the back side and they can rest their arms on the top of the backrest. So, but thankfully I have the massage table that I'm borrowing from a friend, so this works out really good. I'm starting with frankincense, and so this goes on the back of the neck and the shoulders. I usually just do like 1 or 2 drops right there and just do a little bit of rubbing. The extra goes onto the bottoms of the feet. Again, it's just a swipe and a swipe. I'm not really paying a lot of attention to specific reflex points or anything like that. I realized that I actually forgot to take off my tops ahead of time, so I'm doing that now as I talk. And 2 other things that I think might be important for you guys to know. Can you guys still hear me okay, by the way? Is my voice is coming through all right? Okay, thank you, Paula. I see you nodding. Starting with, for some, Sarah has actually never gotten a Symphony of the Cells protocol before. And so I'm only going to be doing 1 drop of each on her. Although she is, very open to using essential oils, she's mostly dealt with the adaptive, which has been very good for her, by the way. But we start slow or with a lower amount on someone who hasn't tried it before, mostly because that makes it so that we are expecting them to not have a strong, reaction. So I put 2 drops on. I'm doing just some circular motions from the base of the spine all the way up to the base of the neck. I'm doing the extra from my hand is going on the bottoms of her feet. And then I'm on to the next one. So we just do, I know it's cold, isn't it? Yeah. All right, so we're doing some more circles from the base to the top, and then bottoms of the feet. And now we have aroma touch, 2 drops. Oh, you know what, guys? I forgot to put the carrier oil. Okay, don't copy me. I was supposed to do carrier oil after I did the frankincense. So pardon me. Already, yeah. There you go. I get an F. The carrier oil, unfortunately, often feels a little colder. When I'm doing this for my little fellows, I'll sometimes warm it up in my hand real quick. But Sarah's being a good sport about having a little bit of a chill here. The carrier oil, right after the frankincense, as you put this on, it actually goes over the entire back. It's not only the spine. But feel free to, just make the amount what fits best for the size of the back. And you do want this carrier oil. What it's doing is allowing the essential oils to stay in the tissues where you put them instead of immediately being absorbed into the whole body. And so especially for the inflammatory protocol, like what we're doing, I'm going on to lemongrass now, which was the next one in the protocol. As we're putting it on the spine there, especially for the inflammation, so much of that needs to be right there on the spine, even though much of her pain is in the tendons or in things like that. But she's also got, the inflammation that gets kind of stored there, right? And yeah, I know she mentioned the shoulder as well too, 2 shoulder issues. It's just Siberian fur that we're putting on, 2 drops. Did I forget to do the bottoms of the feet? You know what? This is what happens when you're on camera. You realize all these little mistakes you're making. It's being recorded. You guys will be forgiving though, won't you? You won't hold this against me. And yeah, it is actually extra funny because I really do. I do this quite a few times a week, being that I have 5 kids and I have a husband. I'm apparently very low on helichrysum, but we have just enough to make this work. All right, and then swipe on the bottom of the feet again. Do remember that when you get up, you may have, because of the carrier oil that you spread around and then put on the feet, you may have a little bit of extra slipperiness, and take care when you're coming down off the table. I love this with the deep blue. Have you guys ever noticed that it actually is a little bit blue? It has a lot of chemazoline in it, which happens to be naturally blue, and that's especially interesting because most of the actual plants that it comes from usually are white. You see things that look like a white flower or something like that. Or like yarrow is another one that has a lot of chemazoline in it. It just looks like a white flower, but when you do it the right way, it'll end up with a blue color to it because of one particular chemical constituent. Apparently I'm low on peppermint also. Okay, so there goes that. That's the last one for this inflammatory protocol. And if I was super prepared, I would have the hot towel ready to lay on her back, and she would get to kind of rest right there with it for about 5 minutes. After you finish doing that, you just kind of do a little extra rubbing in of the extra oils that gets it kind of spread around, or just general, making it feel good. It's nice. I know my husband specifically asked for this inflammatory protocol quite a bit, and I often try to change things up a little bit, but he likes how this one makes him feel. So it's nice when you have somebody who believes in it that much. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put her robe back on, tie her up so if she needs to get down off the table or something like that, she doesn't expose herself. And I think that's about it. And you guys can let me know if you have questions here. Points to tell me go down. Light amount of coconut oil before the oils. Yes. Yep. Yeah, you're totally right. Thank you, Paula. That was exactly what I was doing wrong. I didn't even see it, but I knew it. All right. Let me see here, guys. I'm going to go ahead and kind of transition. If you guys have any extra questions, now would be a great time to ask. I'm going to transition into a little bit of training about the business, about sharing. This was really one of my other really cool things that I